so excited and honored to be here with you. Let me see, I'm going to pull it up. There we go. So I've got my computer set up here, and I'm going to talk to you guys on my phone, but what's really fun about this is I can see your live comments as you guys are commenting. So as you guys are joining on, make sure that you say hi, that you let me know that you are here. Hey Cassandra, hey Brittany, hey Chelsea. So glad that you guys are on here. We'll just kind of chat it up a little bit while other people join on the call or join on the on the Facebook Live. So again, if you guys are jumping on, make sure that you say hi. Make sure, let's see, let me know where you guys are from. So what city, what state. Let's just kind of create a little bit of dialogue on here. I'm an interactive coach, so I love to hear from you guys. And if there is something that I say that resonates with you, post it in the comments. If you are agreeing with things, post it in the comments. If you have questions about things, post them in the comments. And make sure that I want to make sure that this is going to be a great interactive, somewhat of a conversation, right? And so as you guys are jumping on, or if you guys are watching the replay, feel free to hashtag replay. And I'm just going to grab a quick drink while a couple other people are jumping on, saying hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And for those of you guys that may not necessarily know me, you might be wondering, who the heck is this random girl that's coming in? We know your directors have done an awesome job at bringing in such value and such awesome other people that can come in and share their expertise and just give you guys the best value from that you can, so that you can have an amazing pageant experience. And that's what I'm here for. So again, as you guys are tuning in, make sure that you say hi. Make sure that you let me know where you are joining us from. And for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Charity Majors, and I empower women to align with their purpose, to take bold and inspired action, to implement savvy business strategies so that they can confidently, authentically, and unapologetically shine. So, and then maybe if you didn't necessarily know this, I know Donna actually just posted it in the group, but I had the amazing honor of winning the title of Mrs. Idaho America in 2015. I also had the honor of winning the title of Mrs. of the Americas in 2017, and got to go compete at Mrs. World and won top 6 in the world, which was amazing. And just last year, I was Mrs. Idaho United States, and I had the opportunity to compete at Mrs. United States and won the interview award. So I'm excited to be here back in the pageant world because my title is up for this year. But I just always love that you guys are so much a part of just what I love about pageantry, and so thank you for having me. So, okay, are you guys ready to get started? I think we have a good number of people on here. So you guys ready to get started? Give some hearts, give some likes, give some yes, I'm ready. And we are going to jump in. So if you guys saw from the comment up above, we're going to talk a little bit about confidence. We are going to chat a little bit about limiting beliefs that can kind of hold us back from confidence. And we are going to talk about what it means to be unapologetic. Okay, so these were some of the main lessons that I learned within pageantry that were the biggest gifts to me. So, and I want to make sure to share them with you guys. Does that sound good? So when it comes to confidence, what's really interesting about this idea and this concept is that when we thrust ourselves into the pageant experience and all of that, what that can encompass, what's really amazing about pageantry is it is this growth environment. Okay, so how many of you guys have experienced growth as you've gone through your pageant journey? I know I did, and I did it intentionally, right? So it's this amazing environment for growth that we thrust ourselves into and give ourselves a deadline to literally like be the best version of ourselves by a certain date, right? We have to get clear on our message. We have to like have like the hot bod, like be confident in who we are on stage, be confident in our message, right? Be able to articulate that to the judges and right, to be unapologetic. Okay. So I remember in my first pageant experience, when I first started, I was not the pageant girl at all. I was a personal trainer and a nutrition coach and a certified health coach. And so one of my girlfriends, she was competing locally for our state pageant, and she ended up approaching me about being her fitness and nutrition sponsor. And throughout our training, right, she got in awesome shape and she saw great results. And every time I saw her, she was just like, you should do this. You should do this. The women are amazing. Like, it's such a great environment. Like, you would love it. And I, right, like for me, like I was the sweatpants girl. I was like, no, like that's okay. Like I was the trainer, like in sweatpants and tennis shoes, you know, with my hair in a ponytail, like, you know, didn't shower, touched sweaty people all day. And I wasn't, right, the pageant girl, or so what I thought the perception of what a pageant girl was, right? And so it was probably a year later where I jumped in because I was finally actually at a point in my life where I was like, you know what, okay, like I want to get more involved in the community. I want to kind of grow my influence because I know that I have the right intentions behind the influence, right, to serve, to reach kids, I was working with some organizations with some kids with cancer, and then I wanted to connect with other like-minded women. And so this, like that little seed that was planted kind of blossomed up, and I decided to say, like, instead of asking myself why and talking myself out of doing the pageant, I started to ask myself a different question, and I started to ask myself, well, why not me? Why couldn't it be me? Why couldn't I win the title? Why not, right? And so I jumped in and I did my geek out thing that I always do. I'm such a nerd, actually. And so I geeked out on YouTube and I geeked out on some of the blogs and interviewed with some people and had some different conversations with other influencers in the pageant world. And learned all that I could. And it was really interesting because so much of the view from the outside, so I jumped in 4 months before my first pageant and ended up winning the state title. And here's what's really interesting is that people think that my overnight success, so I've actually only been in the pageant arena in the pageant world since 2015. But what's really interesting is that my quote unquote overnight success has actually been probably a 15-year journey. So my background is actually, so not only in personal training and nutrition, but I have a psychology degree and do coaching and now do a lot more confidence and mindset coaching. I've written a book. It's called Meant for More. It's all about igniting your purpose in a world that tries to dim your light. And so a lot of what I actually really deal with and have dealt with before my entrance to pageantry was those limiting beliefs. And here's what's interesting about the limiting beliefs is that they can sometimes be sneaky, okay? So these limiting beliefs are the things like, I don't belong, right? Maybe it's the comparison, like, oh, they've done it before. Or maybe it's the, Cassandra, she's read the book. I love it, yes. All right, so these limiting beliefs are maybe like, I don't belong, or I don't have what it takes, or it might be that I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, in shape enough. right? Have you guys ever experienced these limiting beliefs, especially when you thrust yourself into a growth environment like pageantry, right? So as you are diving into this experience, and it's really is kind of this exposure and vulnerability of who you are, of the things that you care about, the things that matter most to you, as well as how to be able to articulate those things to others so that they understand you and believe you and want to enroll in your message, right? So they want to believe your message. You want to enroll them in your message to say, yes, this is the girl, right? But it doesn't happen by accident. And really the foundation of everything that we do is stemmed from the beliefs that we have and the conversation that goes on in our head. Okay? So the really amazing part about communication is that 93% of communication actually happens non-verbally. Okay? So only 7% of how we communicate are the words that we say. 7%. That's a big deal, right? So when it comes to how we are communicating our message, first of all, we have to understand that our body language and how we say something, our posture, how we present ourselves in the room, this is 93% of what the judges are going to be feeling from you. Okay, and subconsciously picking up. So what's really amazing about our subconscious is that we all have these signals that we pick up from each other. Okay, and so if your subconscious is speaking beliefs and words that are, so 80% of the beliefs that we have are ingrained in our subconscious by the time we are 7. And so what beliefs did we pick up? What patterns are repeating themselves when it comes to those limiting beliefs, and how do they show up in our life is kind of the first question that we can ask. And then how does this affect us when we show up in a room, right, to interview with the judges, when we show up on a stage in a bathing suit and in our gown, in our opening number dress and our cocktail dress. Those limiting beliefs are going to be, if we have not taken care of them, they're going to be in the back of our brain, and they're going to then affect our body language. Okay, so is this making sense, you guys? So have you ever, it's kind of like, have you ever been around another person where you didn't feel like I shouldn't talk to this person, or they're kind of intimidating? Have you guys ever been there? Talk back to me. Like I said, this is interactive, you guys. Have you ever felt like you are not enough? Have you ever felt like what you had to say didn't matter? I know I totally have. Right? And so then going back to now when I won my first state pageant, right? And then was thrust into then competing at nationals, which again, the journey of why I really won the first time was because I had done a lot of this deep limiting belief and releasing fear work beforehand. So then all of a sudden I'm going to nationals and I have no clue what the heck that means. Like the only pageant I've ever seen was, on TV, and then the one that I competed in, there it was, right? So now all of a sudden it's like bringing up all of these new things, right? All these new beliefs, all these new limiting beliefs, or the next layer of these limiting beliefs of I don't belong, I've never done this before, who am I, who do I feel like, right? So now all of a sudden I start, because the limiting beliefs in me, I start to seek external validation, okay? And other people telling me what to do, what to wear, what to say. So I had someone tell me that I was a personal trainer and a nutrition coach on my paperwork because the judges would probably judge me harder. And I did it. I didn't put something that I had loved, right? Like a 14-year career that I had loved and have changed thousands of lives and have had people lose over the years probably 100,000 pounds and gain more confidence and feel better in their body, right? And all of a sudden, because I was unsure, because I let those limiting beliefs and what other people said, I let them dim my light. I let them not be unapologetic in who I was and the message that I had. And you know what's really interesting is I didn't place at that first nationals. And I really honestly think it was because I showed up how I thought the judges wanted me to show up, and I showed up how I thought that other people wanted me to show up. I didn't show up as me. And that was kind of a blow. Like that was like a hit, like a little dagger, like, right? So as I started, right, so I enjoyed an incredible year as Mrs. Idaho America 2015. Got to serve and just love on my community and grow influence and serve at a bigger capacity, and it was incredible, right? So then all of a sudden the Mrs. America organization announced the opportunity to have a national title and to go compete at Mrs. World. And so like I said, I was able to win that national title, Mrs. of the Americas, and go represent our nation at Mrs. World back at the end of 2017, so a little over a year ago. And I threw out everything that I knew about pageants, you guys. And I did it my way. You'll probably hear my little buddy, my little toddler back here. And I did it my way. And the really amazing thing was, like, I showed up in the gown that I wanted to show up in, that made me feel alive and more beautiful than I have ever felt in my life, minus probably my wedding gown. Right? I showed up in a way with my paperwork that was unique to me and how I love to describe myself. And I know some of the ladies on here, they were able to go through my 14 days, my pageant interview secrets challenge, and got some great info on how to describe yourself in a unique way. Right? So now all of a sudden, how do you stand out? How do you not let those limiting beliefs get the best of you? How do you not say, oh my gosh, like her gown is like she spent way more money, or she has a makeup artist, or I'm new to this, or I don't feel like my body is like where I need it to be, right? So now all of a sudden competition comes and it's time for us to show up. What happened? Oh, let me see. Shut up. Let's see. Okay, we gotta wait just a second, okay, bud? You can grab your tablet and play Daniel Tiger, right? It's right there on the couch. How about you do that?
No.
Sorry, guys. Mom life, right? Mom life. That's why this is a Mrs. Pageant. So right, when we thrust ourselves into this environment that is like literally, it's a flashlight on all of our limiting beliefs. Hey, buddy. Remember, Mommy's doing a training right now, and we need to have some quiet time. What, my love? Did you eat your food? That's why you love Facebook Live, right? You can't edit this out.
I'm okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so back to it. So now all of a sudden we thrust ourselves into an environment where we literally like are shining a big spotlight on everything of what could be our insecurities. Which again, when we are coming from this space of an insecurity, right, it literally affects the subconscious communication that goes on, 93% of the communication that goes on, right? Whether it's to the judges or how they are reading you and judging you on stage. So what do you think happens when you have that limiting belief that says, oh, I feel fabulous, right? It's going to affect what I like to call your come from, right? Well, what happens if you think that, like, if they ask a question that you're not expecting, and all of, right? Now limiting beliefs come in. What happens if all of a sudden the first runner-up walks by and she spent $5-10 grand on her gown? I'm just making this up. I don't know who the first runner-up was or how much she's spending on her gown, right? Now all of a sudden it's like, all right, and she's got her makeup artist and she's got her entourage and she hired the best coach and whatever it is. And all of a sudden it's like, ooh, like I don't have what it takes, right? This is going to affect the way that you show up. Okay? So this is a lot of what I teach and coach and work on. But here's the really amazing part is that when it comes to our limiting beliefs, that they are there for a certain reason, but they don't have to stay. Okay? Or we don't have to operate from that space. So what's really amazing about it is, yeah, let me see if it's working. Otherwise you might have to grab your tablet and play Daniel Tiger, okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's let it load for a second. Okay? Come here, buddy. Come here, my love. Come here. Did you bonk your booty?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. Can you say hi?
No.
No. You bonk your booty.
Yeah.
Why don't you go get your night-night, okay?
I want me.
You want what, honey?
I want you a bath. No.
Sorry, you guys. This is just real life right now, and you're getting all of it, right? So now I'm just going to walk you through this right now, what's going on, even limiting belief wise, right? So all of a sudden now they're not going to believe you. They're going to think you're a sham. You're a horrible mom, right? So these are just those background thoughts. Okay. So the thing is that if I then function from that, instead of choose a different thought and choose a different belief. Do you see how that could affect someone? No, thank you.
I want baby and big mix.
No, thank you. Not right now. Okay, honey? You can have one when we're done with the training, after you go eat your dinner and watch Word Party. Okay? Hey. Hey. Look at me right here. Can you look at me right here? Hi. You see yourself? You see me on the screen? Hey. You can have a mint after I'm done with the training, okay? If I need you to go watch Word Party and go eat your dinner, okay? Okay, so now here's some more internal monologue that I just want to like turn this off and delete it, right? So even though like I'm live processing with you guys. So anyways, so back to now this come from, right? That we get to choose a different thought. So when it comes to our limiting beliefs, they actually get attached to our subconscious because of an emotional experience. So that not enough, or that comparison, or that feeling of I don't have what it takes, I'm going to fail, they're going to judge me, they're going to criticize me, right? What are some limiting beliefs that have kind of popped up for you guys in this, right? I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, right? A lot of these things are very, very common, especially when you thrust yourself into a growth environment. And so if you're not necessarily sure how to choose a different thought or to choose a different belief, or if you have never put into your subconscious the opposite of those beliefs, right? Taken out the not enough or detached from the not enough so that you can choose the different thought that is attached to the positive belief, then that can really affect your subconscious communication and what the judges pick up from you. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys a really fun chart that I have in my book, and it shows what are called vibrations and energy. Okay? So hang with me just for a second if this sounds a little woo-woo or a little out there. It's actually backed by science, and this is what I love. And this is so much of what I base my my coaching and training on, is are these vibrations and energy. So if you think back to science, like back in the day in science class, where your teacher was teaching you all about atoms, okay, and how like if you put two, oxygen molecules and one hydrogen molecule, that creates an element of water, right? So H2O, right? So it's one positive hydrogen and two negative oxygens, right? Is this making sense, you guys? So now all of a sudden this creates a charge, right? Because every single atom, every single element has a certain charge to it, right? Positive or negative, and a certain what's called frequency or vibration. And so then as right now the building blocks to life come together. And so if you start to understand that everything around you has a certain charge, a certain vibration, or a certain energy, right? So, like your eyes have a certain vibration because it's made up of a combination of certain cells. Your body has a certain vibration because it's made up of a certain cells. My journal or my book or my microphone or my computer screen, the different elements within that has a certain frequency or a vibration, okay? And so what's really amazing about science is that they have now been able to measure the vibration and the frequency of the human body when we are thinking about different things and when we're thinking about different beliefs. Or so if you can imagine, right, I'm sure you've seen those pictures of like all like the brain scans or like the MRI, or not the MRI, there's an EKG and an EEG, right? One of them's for your heart, one of them's for your head. And science is now able to measure. So when your heart and your head are not aligned, when you're in a state of anxiety, literally the measurements, they go like this, like your head and your heart, like it looks like they're opposing each other. But then when you get into a state of gratitude, they actually line up with each other, your head and your heart, okay? So then here's what else is really, really interesting, is that measurements of different emotions can also be measured. So if you can look at this for a second, so you can see that coming from a place of fear or shame or guilt or the not enough stuff or the failures or the the whatever it might mean. Maybe if you are sharing your story and you haven't necessarily processed through all of it, or again you're catching yourself in comparison, these are these lower vibration or these lower frequency emotions compared to coming from a space of peace and love and joy and gratitude, right? And even courage, right? These are, can you guys see these? They're coming from these higher frequencies that are up towards that higher point of the cone. Okay. So here's the thing is, if you haven't necessarily dealt with some of this stuff and these limiting beliefs, it still is going to affect your vibration. It's still going to affect what's called your come from, or the energy that you put out that is subconsciously picked up from the judges. Okay. So is this making sense, you guys? So I'm going to give you a quick little technique on how to start to reframe these limiting beliefs. Okay. So as an example, a belief that I used to have that I really struggled with, again, and it was attached to my subconscious because of an emotional experience. It was when I was, I think maybe 5, 6 or 7, something right in there. And I was at a new school and wanted to make some new friends. And so it was recess and I went out and kind of, there was a group of girls that were playing and I was like, hey, can I come play with you guys? And they said no. And so based off of my perception, I then attached a little belief to my subconscious that said, girls don't like me. They're going to reject me. I don't have what it takes, right? Not enough, or whatever it was. I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not athletic enough, or right? I just was not enough for them to accept me. And so then what's really amazing about our brain and our subconscious is that as when we get these beliefs, our brain starts to do what's called confirmation bias. Okay? And so this is kind of like the same concept of if you're have you ever looked for a new car? And all of a sudden you start to see it everywhere. Right? You see that car everywhere, right? So this is what's called confirmation bias. So when you are literally focused on something or it's coming from a belief, which is then our beliefs create then our thoughts create our words and our actions then create our habits, and our habits create our destiny, okay? So if all of a sudden, if you're focused in on these beliefs that you don't have what it takes, right? And that's the replaying record that goes on in your head, your brain, this confirmation bias will continue to look for ways to, oh, yep, they don't like you. Confirm. Oh, yep, you don't belong there. Confirm. Right? So a really simple technique that you can do is if you kind of journal out just some of the repeating limiting beliefs that might kind of come up for you, right? And under pressure, they're going to get triggered. When you're tired, they're going to get triggered. When you're jumping into something new, they're going to get triggered. Okay, and that's when they'll start to yell at you the loudest. And as you start to just pay attention, right? Don't judge yourself. Don't just be the observer. Just kind of write down some of the things that come out. And then as you're looking at this, right? So maybe take one of them, right? But I don't have what it takes, or they're not going to like me, or they're going to reject me, right? So then start to look for confirmation bias in the opposite of that. Okay? So what were the times that you did belong? What were the times that you had great, amazing friendships and relationships? What were the times that you were accepted? What were the times where you did have what it took? Right? Now all of a sudden, because you're focusing in on that opposite of of a new confirmation bias, as you start to retrain your brain and say, actually, you know what? I do have what it takes. I am enough. I am worthy. I belong. Right now, all of a sudden, we start to change the thoughts that go in our mind, which then confirmation bias in our brain then sends a signal to our body that confirms what we're feeling, sends out endorphins and or adrenaline, depending, right? So all these different neurochemical responses, and then it comes back to our brain and confirms it. So all of a sudden, if you're looking for the situations where you do have what it takes, where you are enough, where you are worthy, where you were clearly speaking your message, where you felt focused, where you felt connected, where you felt loved, all of a sudden you're coming from these higher states. And what that literally does is it changes your it changes your energy, it changes your vibration, and it changes the confidence in who you are and what you have to say to those judges. It changes your body language that you belong on that stage. It changes the message and the way that you share it. Right? It changes the way that you speak, the confidence in the things that you say. Right? Instead of when you're unsure, we kind of back off a little bit. We're kind of like, well, we might get a little bit quieter. We might end our sentences in more of a question. Right? I'm Charity Majors. If you've ever seen Anchorman, I'm Ron Burgundy, right? Compared to I'm Charity Majors, and I believe that every single woman is here for a specific purpose, right? And I am here to empower them to step into that, to unapologetically and confidently shine through taking bold and inspired action, to letting go of the limiting beliefs and understanding that who they are is not a mistake. Can you feel the difference? So the way that you're come from affects everything. Your energy affects everything. The beliefs that are deeper down here that then create the thoughts up here. When we're able to get a hold of that, that will change everything, you guys. As you start to show up on that stage, as you start to show up in the rooms unapologetically and who you are and who you are meant to be. As you share your message with boldness, right? The cause that you love, the lives that you want to change, the impact that you want to make. It's going to come from a completely different space, and you don't have those limiting beliefs that say, well, you didn't say the perfect thing. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you say it. Remember, your words are only 7% of communication. It's how you say it.
1, 2.
Is this making sense, you guys? Are you finding value in this? Feel free to comment below. Let's have a little conversation. And then as you guys have questions about this stuff, feel free to comment. Okay? So again, I encourage you guys to do that practice, right? So use that confirmation bias of saying, okay, these are the conversations, the limiting beliefs that I have. How can I confirm the opposite and get your brain looking for those things and grab a hold of that feeling? Okay? And that will start to disprove those limiting beliefs. Okay? Yes, and way to count, Judah. Yes, Monica. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chelsea, I would love for you to check out my book. That'd be awesome. So if you guys are feeling like you're needing kind of deeper training in this, and I know Cassandra, you actually just a few weeks ago just finished my 14 Days to Unshakable Confidence Challenge, and this is a lot of the stuff that we dive into, you guys. And I actually have a new one that starts February 25th, and I would love to have it. Yes, Donna, great minds think alike. Yes. So Cassandra, would you mind actually just sharing, actually, are you open to like jumping on and sharing your experience? Like if I invited you to the Facebook Live and to do, just kind of share your experience about the challenge? And you don't have to, it's okay. But yeah, like that's what this is all about, you guys. It's all about those limiting beliefs. I know this was even some of the stuff that like Monica worked on it, right? She got to go through kind of what it means to, right, like find your why and to find your message, and how to formulate that and how to let go of those limiting beliefs. And when I did my my pageant interview secrets challenge. So, okay, Cass, I'm gonna invite you, girlfriend. Let's see here. Oh, well, let me add you. You're probably not on your cell phone, right? Well, let me add you. That's all right. But you guys, so these limiting beliefs, right? The conversations that go on in our head, this is what literally affects everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, find your why. Yes. You're on your cell phone. Really, Kat? It won't let me. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll invite you. There you go. You're invited, friend. Okay. Cass, I invited you. But yes, Monica, finding your why. Yes. And this is one of the big lessons that we go through in the challenge, and a resource if you guys want to dive into something like that. There's it's a TED Talk video. It's by Simon Sinek, and it's called start with why. He also has a great book, so dive into that, right? That was actually one of the lessons in my pageant interview secrets challenge that we did with the girls, was having them complete, like, to really dive in and to find their why, and then to speak from that space. And right, like, I mean, hey, like, it worked. Cass, you didn't get anything. I invited you. Let me see. Bring there. Sandra on. Okay, girlfriend, you're getting added. Judah's playing basketball now. Okay, should add her. Yeah, it's still saying adding, but do you guys have questions about any of this stuff?
Oh. Hey.
How's it going?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Judah's coming over to see who else is on. So what was your, I know you did the pageant interview secrets as well as the Unshakable Confidence Challenge. So, what was what were some aha moments for you that you learned?
So I really loved how we were able to kind of delve into our past and kind of the aspects of our life that really became a foundation for us and the way that we believe about ourselves, what we believe about ourselves. And I discovered that there were some traumatic moments for me. So I loved that we kind of delved into those and we worked towards replacing them with positive things. Like, for example, when I came into the church, I had this idea that you had to be a certain way to be a Christian. And it was almost oppressive to me, because I felt like being humble was to allow yourself to be trod upon. And I think that through working through the confidence challenge and kind of debriefing some of those things, I was able to discover not only what humility really is, but how it can be empowering for a woman.
Yeah, I love that so much. How do you feel like it had, like, detaching from these limiting beliefs and kind of reframing them, and right, like diving right into the deep end, right? Like, if you get my book, which you actually get with my challenge, but and if you're friends with me, you know that like I like to like cannonball right in. Like, yeah, like I like to talk about shoes and I like to talk about the weather, sure. But really, like, I want to know about your hopes and your dreams and like what lights you up from the inside. So I'm like a cannonball into the deep end kind of a person, which is what we do in the challenge. But how do you feel like working on some of those limiting beliefs has helped you now? And the conversation,
I feel like,
right? Like the chatter that goes on up here.
I feel like it really allowed me to recognize when that ego mind, that survival instinct, that keep you safe instinct came in. I feel like I'm better able to recognize it and to replace it with positive thoughts. And I think that it's going to truly be a game changer for me in the pageant world, because I feel like it'll be one of the first times when I'm going to be able to go in there without fear about who I am.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much, you guys. And that's what it's all about, right? That's what it means to like show up confidently, authentically, and unapologetically, like in who you are, in all of your stuff, right? Like whatever it is. Like, it's not about having the perfect answer and rehearsing it 10 million times. It's about knowing and understanding who you are, why you're here, so that no matter what the judges ask, no matter what anybody else is wearing, that you are just, right, you get to stay in your own lane and you get to be you, right? And even if you don't win, right, because there's only one, what's the saying? There's one delegate chosen out of a group of winners, right? Because like it takes guts and it takes bravery to do what you guys are doing. And so for that, like, that's amazing, right? Like, give yourself props for that. And then here's the thing is that even if someone isn't the one to win, right, then what's underneath is going to come out, because when we are put under pressure, right, what's underneath comes out under that pressure. And And what's really amazing is that you're going to be able to know that even though you showed up authentically and who you were meant to show up as the best version of yourself, and that everything happens for a reason.
Up, up,
up, up, up. You want to be in the camera too? We'll make it a 3-person interview. You want to say hi?
No.
So, yeah, Cass, I'm excited for you and to see how you how this year goes for you, and I'm just so proud of the growth that you have done, and of course I'm cheering you on. I'm cheering all of you guys on for sure. But yeah, thanks for just jumping on and sharing a little bit. But and I'm sure if you're watching the video and you guys have questions for Cassie, I'm sure she'll answer them. She's great with that, and she loves to help and to serve others. But
Okay, I'm gonna get off now.
okay, thanks, friend.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, you guys. So what questions do you have for me? Let's kind of enter into a little Q&A time about limiting beliefs. Like what is coming up for you? Were there aha moments? Do you have questions? Do you have comments? Let's have a little Q&A.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Are you talking in the microphone? Yeah.
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 Here's my podcast microphone. I have a podcast, you guys. Feel free to check it out. Nothing. You guys are quiet tonight. Man. What, did this bring anything up for you? Does this make sense? Or am I Bueller? All right, you guys. Well, if no one has any questions right now on the live, or again, if you're watching the replay, oh, thanks. My podcast today was great. Thank you. Thanks. But yeah, feel free to, if you guys have questions, if they come up as you're kind of aware of this stuff now, or if you're watching the replay and you're kind of commenting along and have questions as well, then I'll make sure to come back in and kind of address and answer questions in the group if that's okay with Donna. And but yeah, I encourage you guys to do that, right? That limiting belief, that reframe, finding the places for that confirmation bias that confirm the feelings of that you do have what it takes and that you do belong and that you are enough, right? Can you get it on the podcast app, like on iTunes? I'll type it in here. So CharityMajors.com/podcast. That's where you can see it on all different platforms, like whether it's Google or Android or iPhone or Stitcher or all the things. So yeah, and I just posted, actually, it's not released, it will be released later on this week when my assistant releases it, but I did a Facebook Live of the live quick little podcast all about not letting people, like, not how to increase your self-esteem and not worry about what others think about you. So you can always check it out on my profile. But yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help and to serve in any way that I can and to cheer you on. And Donna, make sure that if you guys have a live stream or anything, let me know so I can make sure to to jump in and watch. And then if you guys do want to jump in on my 14 Days to Unshakable Confidence Challenge, I'll post, there's the website so that you can check it out and see if it's for you. I would love to have you. You get a free signed copy of my book, and a new one starts February 25th. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Donna, for having me. And it's just always so fun to get to serve and connect with fellow amazing women who are Remember, we only play golf with the ball. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, you guys. Oh, love it. Love it. Real life, mom life. Yeah, I would love to just help and serve you guys and to cheer you on in any way that I can. So, love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you do have questions, feel free to either comment in this feed or shoot me a message or shoot Donna a message and she can send it over to me, whatever works best for you guys. I'm happy to just, like I said, help and to serve and help you turn up your light so that you can shine bright and unapologetic as well. So, all right, you guys, have a good night.